Hi, good evening, everybody. Hope that you all had a great uh, mid-February. So, as you can see, now I'm actually in Aspen. Just kidding. How I wish, right? With the snowy mountains behind me and with my imaginary fireplace. Right? Isn't it great? If you could one day visit the Alps. All right. So anyway, back to reality. So we are not in Aspen, but in a very hot and humid uh, weather in Southeast Asia. Okay. So today I'm going to talk about a very needful topic, I think, and I feel that most people have struggled with uh, the festive season, and we do not know how to prevent the impending doom of weight gain, okay, that comes with it. I think that's a very common dilemma. So as much as we are really happy and excited, okay, about the celebration that's coming for us, okay, but there will be a part of us that is a bit nervous, okay, about how are we going to endure, right, with all the non-stop eating from Monday to Friday, okay? So without much further ado, let's dive right into it. So give me some time as I share my screen. Let's navigate the festive season, shall we? Okay, so when it comes to the festive season, all right, of course, we are looking forward to all the festivals, but what is making this year particularly interesting is that we have two major occasions coming up. Okay, one, of course, is the Chinese New Year, right? And of course, for our Muslim friends, they are also going to enter through a Ramadan season. So we are at a crossroad of two very unique circumstances that's happening at the same time, that there are some correlations between both of these. Okay, so I will try to relate both of these so that we can relate to as many people as possible. Okay, so what are the three major challenges when it comes to holiday feasting? So number one, of course, is weight gain. So if you gain just 1 kg, you're considered very good already, right? Most people will gain 2, sometimes even up to 3 kg. Okay, so but 1 kg is the bare minimum that most people would expect to happen, correct? So the thing is, 50% of the weight can be permanent annual weight gains that creep up silently without us realizing. Okay, so this is the danger of it. And 93% of the weight gain is fat mass. Okay, so this is what I think is very scary. Okay, because it happens so fast. And to even lose 1 kg can be a lot of effort for some people, right? So for those who are in this camp, you will understand, right? That to even lose that 1 kg sometimes takes a lot of effort. And not just that, it's the fat mass, okay, that don't sit very well with our body. And next, not to mention, gas and bloating is also a major challenge when you face the feasting time. Okay, because most of the things, let's face it, are not going to be healthy. They're going to be high in salt, all right, and they rapidly retain water. And not just only that, the junk food that you eat, okay, the junk food that you eat, they disrupt the microbiome. Okay, this is the one thing that I want to mention because people don't realize that their microbiome is going to be majorly affected during this time. And sugar processed snacks will feed the bad bacteria. Okay, and bad bacteria will ferment a lot of gas. So this is where it can happen. And the most inconvenient thing would be constipation then. All right, so if it goes on to 2 days and 3 days, it's going to cause a lot of discomfort and general just unpleasantness during this whole time of holiday feasting. And thirdly, of course, not to mention it's going to worsen insulin resistance and whatever existing inflammation that you currently have. So holiday feasting is when it's going to be a bit difficult, okay, to navigate through these challenges. But if you have certain tools, you can make this transition a lot easier. Okay. Now, of course, we are very often we have questions like this, right? So for those for Ramadan, it means that because a lot of them say they will lose weight, and they have confidence in that because they feel that they can get away with a lot of these feasting habits that come during the Raya season. So is Ramadan fasting better? Okay, so not necessarily. Ironically, a lot of studies actually find that those who, after Ramadan, yes, they lost a lot of weight, but their weight rebound can come back with a vengeance. Okay, it can lead to significant weight rebound, and that's the reason why you don't see people losing weight year by year. Okay, in fact, with Ramadan, despite of this effort, they still gain weight year by year. Why? Okay, because number one, not fueling properly in the morning before fasting begins. I think this is also where people have the wrong concept that in the morning they eat a lot and usually a very high carbohydrate meal, and they're also not properly hydrated. So during this point of time, a lot of changes will happen in your body, and it will lead to a lot more weight retention during that time. Okay, and I think this is the very key thing that many people would face, especially during Ramadan fasting season, that they lose control when they break fast in the evening. Okay, because I know we have to sympathize with our Muslim friends, right? Because it is difficult when you are fasting at majority of the waking hours. All right, for most of us, we fast overnight, so that's a lot easier. But for those who are fasting in the day, it's challenging. You'll be tired, fatigued, and of course, you burn even more energy, frankly. So we lead to a lot of hunger, chills, and dehydration as well because you can't drink water. All right, insufficient protein is also a main one because weight loss is 20% muscle mass loss. This is key. Okay, if you lose fat, it's fine. But 20% of weight loss during Ramadan is due to not enough protein. Okay, so this is a very important thing to take note, especially if you are going to go into Ramadan fasting. Okay, and weight regain during Raya can be up to 93% of fat mass. Okay, so this is something that we have to take note, right? Because weight gain, if it gain muscle, is still fine, but you're gaining back fat, which is going to be very difficult to do after that. All right, and of course, insufficient fiber during this whole time, okay, that can help to manage, they're supposed to better manage our sugar and insulin during the day. Okay, so of course, with that said and done, is fasting still worth it? All right, since you say that, Claudia, there's going to be weight rebound, despite whether I fast or not. During Chinese New Year, you will still gain weight anyway, or Ryan still will gain weight, right? So what is the point of fasting? Okay, might as well I just eat and just eat some more lah, because going to gain anyway, right? Okay, so to answer you, actually, it is still worth it. Okay, there are some explanation as to why. Number one, because when you fast, you train and you rewire your appetite center. Okay, low insulin levels provides an opportunity for sugar stores to be utilized. So it's very important that when you fast, if you really go in with the right concept, it empties your existing sugar stores. Okay, so when you use the sugar that's in your liver, this is when you are able to burn fat. So that's where fasting can come into the picture to help us to achieve that effect. So during feasting season, excess glucose can be used by your muscle and liver and not become stored fat. So this is the main reason why it is highly recommended to still go with a fasting season, and especially for those who are Ramadan, it's even better because come to think of it, you burn even more calories during your fasting time. Okay, so when you feast, the excess can be used by your muscle and liver so that it does not become stored fat, right? So when insulin level is low enough, it triggers AMPK. All right, so when we talk about deep fat burning, we talk about really burning your visceral fat, burning all the other fat depots in your body. You need to trigger this thing called AMPK. So in order for us to trigger deep fat burning, we have to be in a fasted state for long enough time, okay, which I'm going to go into it later. So when we don't fast, our body will start to get lazy in using our stored energy. because it's so much easier to use what you eat. So when you eat, okay, body will just use that. All right, it's not gonna go into burn your fat in your tummy or burn the fat in your hips because those take so much more energy for your body to expand and to access those areas. So might as well I just use whatever rice that you eat, right? That's gonna be so much easier and lazier for your body to tap into that. So if we fast, our body get more used to using and tapping into our fat stores for energy. All right, so this makes our body a lot more prep and primed during festive season that our body can absorb the shock. Okay, so even you have a high influx of carbohydrate or sugar, for example, it's a lot more adept to use. Okay, let's just quickly use this sugar, and at the same time, it activates some background fat burning. All right, and when that's done, let's quickly switch into fat burning. Even though you are doing the feasting season, you can also burn some fat. All right, so let's go into a bit deeper today. Now, this is what happens when you fast, all right? And that is the reason why UniCity would advocate at least a 15-hour fast. It used to be 12 hours, but now we have extended it to 15 hours, all right? And why is this the general guideline that we go through? Because when, 0 to 4 hours fasting, that is when your insulin level starts to decline, all right? The 4-hour mark. 4 to 12 hours is where your insulin level is low enough that your sugar in the liver can be used as an energy source. So as you go through this step, only at the 12 to 16 hours, that is when your liver sugar source depletes, all right? And that is when the AMPK enzyme is activated, right? So it only activates about the 12-hour time. So in order for you to really be able to, see increase of ketone level or to be able to access deep fat burning, it takes longer than that. Hence, we try to extend it to 16 hours. All right, this is where the deep fat burning begins. All right, so this is how it is safe generally for most people and why we advocate to go 16 hours if your body can take it. Because this is where your AMPK enzyme is being activated. So what if for those people who cannot go 16 hours, right? So for those who are 12 hours, does that mean that due to gastric, and it's not everybody can take a 16-hour fast so easily. And if you were to break it, is that gonna leave us hanging, right? So this is where we need some strategy. All right, just purely focusing on the fasting hours alone, you will find yourself unable to fully utilize the full effect of fasting because maybe you cannot tolerate 16 hours, right? And maybe during your feasting season also you can't be fasting that long, correct? So what can we do to better prime our body to be able to be smart during the celebration? Okay, so the key here is during pre-celebration, we want to try to keep our insulin levels low as possible and best to activate this AMPK faster, sooner. So we don't have to wait for the 16 hour, hopefully, that we can shorten the time so we can get into the fat burning mode faster. So this is where feel great is really important. And when you talk about a hack, it's really the ultimate biohack. Okay, so why do I say this? Today, because of the interest of today's topic, I will go with Unimate first. All right, because I want to talk about fasting and how does this relate to fasting and to give us a much more better advantage when it comes to fat burning. All right, so what is GLP-1 a big advantage for us? Number one, GLP-1 lowers insulin level after a fast. Okay, so your starting point, you already shorten your time. Because for most people, if you're not on any tools, you're not on any fuel grade, you take about 4 hours. All right. So with GLP-1, if you have that, it can shorten the time to 2 to 3 hours. That you can cut down that time, like half of the time. All right, because normally it takes 4 hours to return to baseline. And when your insulin can lower down fast, upper hand for your body to use the liver and muscle sugar source sooner. Because remember, your body must use your liver and your muscle source sugar first. Then only, it's low enough, then only your body will go into that deep fat burning mode. All right, you must remember that. So if you deplete your liver source, sugar source, then only you will be in the state where you will activate your AMPK and you will enter into that fat burning zone a lot faster. Okay, so that's why individuals on GLP-1, especially the medication, that they find themselves losing weight really fast. Okay, so this is one of the reasons. All right, and another thing we have is chlorogenic acid. Okay, it's our main component in unimate because it it has a double effect. Number one, chlorogenic acid increases GLP-1. And we learned that GLP-1, okay, it will increase and shorten that time. And the best thing is that not just only it gives our body GLP-1, it stimulates our body to produce even more naturally occurring GLP-1. All right, so that's really pretty awesome. Okay, that it trains your gut to produce more GLP-1. And secondly, chlorogenic acid can increase the expression of AMPK in your body. All right, and what happens is that because there's chlorogenic acid, it's going to trigger expression of AMPK. So even though you are not in a deep fasting mode, there are some surrounding AMPK enzyme being activated in you. So that means that even though you are eating, okay, of course, your background insulin level can still be high. Because our body are using sugar and at the same time, you can also use fat stores on it. But if you're metabolically flexible enough and if there's a lot of AMPK, your body can also be burning sugar and using fat at the same time. And you can achieve that if you have enough AMPK being expressed in your body. And not only that, GLP-1 also increase AMPK expression. So it means that it's a double activation of AMPK when you have chlorogenic in your body. So it directly triggers AMPK and stimulates even better background fat burning. So even though your insulin level is not perfectly low, for example, because you get about 2 hours, right? Okay. So even if you're at say about 4 hours, so even in your second or 1.5 hours in between not eating, you're already burning, ramping up some fat burning at the side. So I think that's really quite amazing, honestly. And when it comes to fat burning and unimate, there's a lot of science that can really help to enhance the ability for all of us. All right. So it's a double activation. All right. So this is what you see when you don't take unimate. So unimate, if you don't take, okay, this is the normal one which we went through just now. Okay, you take 12 to 15 hours. So with unimate, you already have a head start in the very beginning. Okay, you are already shortening your time. The insulin level maybe probably take about 2 hours to drop. Okay, and then for 2 to 10 hours, okay, to deplete, we just put a safe average about 8 hours. Okay, so by the 10 to 14 hours, you're already activating the AMPK so much sooner compared to you not using any unimate. So you are at a much more prime position to utilize your fat energy. And that's going to help you a lot, especially give you an advantage when you are in the position where you have to eat a lot. Okay. So this, of course, if you can go beyond 14 to 16 hours, this fat burning can occur even more prolonged in your body. Okay. So for those on 12 hours, if you're on unimate, at least you can have deep fat burning at the 10-hour mark. So despite not being able to finish 15 hours, at your 12 hours, you're already able to experience some form of deep fat burning. Okay. So here we can see that unimate have a much more higher content of chlorogenic acid. And definitely when you look about fat burning, it's going to place you in a much higher advantage. Okay. So for Ramadan fasting, I recommend for those who are on this that you can try to mix 2 unimate at one go, right? Because this is the best way to take it, honestly, because in between you can't drink any water and you can't be taking unimate at night. And based on the science that we talked about just now, you can activate your AMPK maximum, okay, during the time that you are fasting. All right. So take in the morning with breakfast. I don't recommend taking this too soon to the beginning of your fasting time, right? Because 2 doses of unimate, it has caffeine, right? So it's gonna make you pee, okay, a lot more, a bit more, not a lot more. So I would want to prime you to do all that and rehydrate, okay, before you start your actual fasting time. So at least you can still drink a bit more water to replenish your hydration. Okay. Okay. So I realized that I spent a lot of time, okay, on this, but I think it's quite important. All right. Another one is muscle loss. Okay, that I want to touch because this is also a key thing to take into consideration, especially when you're fasting. Okay, good quality protein to mitigate muscle loss because it's very hard to regain. So stronghold is not your traditional protein powder. Okay, as you can see that the ingredient here makes it very different. Okay, most protein supplement only has number one. They don't have number two or number three. So for us, we have three different components that makes it a very strong activator that promotes muscle building signal and prevents muscle loss. All right. So of course, we want to prevent muscle shrinkage because it's going to lead to all these diseases. But the main thing I want to talk about is this, all right, because the new protein recommendation wants us to eat more protein. It's quite high, close to double of the amount that was initially recommended. Okay, because they realized that this is one of the key issues why people are facing insulin resistance. But I think if we can go to 1.0, it's also considered pretty good already. So new recommendations one suggest that we take more because 0.8 is too low. All right. So one of the best way is to take good quality protein like stronghold. Okay, because not all protein is created equal because most of the protein they eat outside is cheap protein. Okay, they're highly processed and it cannot produce the kind of muscle building effect into our body. So that is the reason why we have to choose some specific ingredient to achieve this purpose. All right. So for muscle, okay, in every given moment, there's always amino acid that comes into our muscle to build it, and there's also amino acid that will reach out, okay, in every given moment. So in order for us to build muscle, we need to increase this amino acid in. Okay, so we need good quality protein that can stimulate that. If we have whey protein isolate, we can increase up to 2 times, okay, and increase muscle protein synthesis up to 50%. So this is very important because not the protein we eat outside can give us this effect. So some people say that, okay, you can maybe eat meat and all that, but still, I don't think we can produce as much of an effect as 47%. All right. And this is key because leucine is the most powerful amino acid when it comes to telling the muscle to grow. All right, it's the most powerful activator. And if you talk about amino acid, leucine is the most important one. Okay, but leucine cannot work on its own because if leucine only work on its own, this balance is going to go a bit haywire. So leucine have to work together with calcium H and D because both of them communicate with one another. Okay, it will prevent your muscle from being desensitized to the effect of leucine. And at the same time, it can prevent muscle loss. Okay, amino acid that's going to reach out from your muscle. Right? So leucine is going to command mTOR, which is the most important enzyme when it comes to muscle building. All right, muscle signal for your muscle growth. All right, and you can also increase protein synthesis. And most importantly, yeah, it prevents the leaching of amino acid from the body. So both of these play a very important role in managing that dynamic, our muscle. Okay, so not to mention, our muscle is also a very highly energized organ in the body. All right, it needs a lot of battery. Okay, ATP is basically like battery for your body because your muscle always contracts. A lot of movement happening every time, so it uses a lot of energy. So in order for us to make our muscles strong, steady, and it can help us to move better, work better, then we need to give it more creatine. So creatine is no longer something that is only given for athletes, okay, because in the past it's always touted and marketed in athletic products, okay. So now creatine is put into modern day, especially with our modern day protein powders, because our muscle would really benefit a lot with this fast charging process in our muscle. Okay, it's stronger, it's more agile, you don't feel tired easily, you can walk further. All right, and especially for those who are on Ramadan, you are going to benefit a lot if you have this in you. Okay, it's going to prevent that fat, that muscle loss especially, and you have to make sure that you keep, because muscle loss can happen very easily when you fast. So you must make sure that you retain this because your muscle is the largest glucose tank in the body. Okay, make sure. All right. So it has very impressive. Okay, stronghold has one of the most impressive key study outcomes that I've ever seen in the protein product. Okay, so many years, okay, in this industry, I get to see something like this. All right, but to share with you some key important ones is mTOR. All right, because mTOR is the most important muscle building signal. So it's able to increase 5 times by just taking stronghold within an hour. So if you have taken your stronghold, it means that the mTOR has already increased this as you take this every single day. All right. So all these things that happen within 1 hour is going to build up and to give you strong muscles. Even in that 1 month itself, you can already see a difference. All right. Long-term results, of course, okay, can help to even adjust and reduce our fat tissues, okay, despite of it being a muscle building product. Okay, and it can also increase the muscles in our body. And this is, of course, a very obvious graphic to show how stronghold can strengthen and increase our muscle fiber even more. All right. So for those who have not tried stronghold, I highly recommend that you try it. Okay, because it's really one of the kind out there, and it's one of the first in the market. Okay, that it serves as an activator that tells your body what to do uh, when there's protein in the body. So for you, if you want to build even greater muscle mass, all right, if you want to build even more solid structure in your body, it's highly recommended that you take a high quality protein source. So I know there's a number of people who are doing this and commendable because this is definitely going to increase your results even more. So if you have good quality protein plus an increased signaling in your body, it's definitely going to give you elevated results when it comes to muscle retention. So this is going to be great for those who want to retain their muscle. Okay. So last but not least, we have to also make sure that because even during fasting season, we also will have break our fast, right? We still have dinner and lunch, okay, for those who are not on Ramadan. So curbing carbs and insulin is also very important, okay, and I will go through it right. All right. Obviously, it targets a very crucial problem, carbs. All right, and why balance is one of the most well-established natural foods, okay, safe, and importantly, it affects and lower the impact of carbohydrate and cholesterol in our body. Okay, this is the one thing I want to stress because I think that many people feel that because they're on medication or that they tend to think that things like balance may not really work. Of course, I have medication, right? But it's true that medication is important, all right? I mean, I want to be clear about this, right? Medication in general, it helps your body to better metabolize the excess sugar and removing it from the body. So this is very useful for those who are really diagnosed diabetes because there's already something wrong with their body that they cannot metabolize. So it helps to maybe excrete excess sugar or, make your body be able to utilize the sugar better, right? But it does not control the sugar spike during your mealtime. Let me repeat again. It does not control the sugar spike during your mealtime. Let's say, okay, you take your drug or your metformin this morning, right? Then after that, you take a high chocolate or a very sugary food. You go and check your blood sugar. Is it going to spike or not? Of course, it's going to spike one, right? Okay, because what does all this metformin do is, yes, it's important for those who need it, but it's only helping to deal with the background sugar that's in your body. But what you eat, what you eat, you cannot control that. So during your mealtime, you need something to curb that sugar impact. So that's why it's very important. All right, that you need to have this because by just curbing this, right, you are already reducing the sugar spike during the mealtime, especially for those who are already having a weakness in dealing with that. Okay, so important to know this. But of course, I have to stress this. However, if your doctor prescribe it, it means you need it. All right, and here we don't advocate you like not taking medication and take this. Also cannot. All right, you must follow the doctor's prescription and do it concurrently. And if the doctor recommends you to slowly taper off the dosage or whatever, then only you follow through with that advice. Okay, but it's important to note that taking medication is not a green card to eat whatever you like. All right. So we need to have something to protect during the meantime. All right. So why is balance so good? Of course, we are one of the longest in the market that has this, all right? Seven types of soluble fiber, and you're improving our product, and this is our final, it's not final lah. One of our latest iteration, over 7 or 8 different changes. Okay, it's our fiber blend that's very unique that you can't find in the market. All right. Our fiber is designed in such a way that it can cover a wide spectrum of food because of the viscosity of that fiber. All right, it's patented by us, so it's one of our best products. Okay, and also it has 13 vitamins and minerals, and you've also included certain variants like chromium that help to also improve our body's ability to metabolize sugar in our body. Okay. Okay, so of course, if you have balance during mealtime, you can you link it with the theory I talked to you about right just now? So when you eat, balance will trap the excess sugar from the food. Okay, it cushions the effect of insulin as well. So if you can cushion the impact of sugar in your food, your liver will have reduced sugar store. Okay, because it's trapped now, it's trapped in that fiber matrix that you took. And because of that, there's going to be less sugar that's going to be stored in your liver. And because of that, your body can shorten the time it takes to deplete that existing sugar in your liver. And this indirectly would also help your body to go into the fat burning zone sooner. All right, so this is very important if you're going to have any carb in your meal, and this will link back to the whole fasting and fat burning cycle. Okay, when you take concurrently with winning state. Right, so this is how we close the loop, and it reduces the overall time taken for your body to enter the deep fat burning mode. Okay, so that's why taking this is also very important. Okay, so this is just a funny to show that after taking balance, the sugar changes drastically. All right. So I've covered this pre-celebration. So during celebration, I will not talk too much because I think that the science pretty much stacks up the same. But during celebration, I would recommend you to take extra balance. Okay, I would highly recommend this because we're gonna binge. Okay, we're gonna be eating a lot, that kind of stuff. Even though we are trained in the sense that we won't eat it that much, but we're definitely eat more than usual. So I highly recommend you to take this 2 times a day. All right, and you can just stick to taking one unit mate. It's fine now. All right, generally, but if you can stick to balance such as. And also extra probiotic aloe vera to manage the disturbed microbiome, bloatedness, and water retention. This is actually very important as well. Okay, because you're definitely going to feel it during the Chinese New Year holidays or Raya holidays, right? So you may need some extra help during this time to manage all these problems that's going to be happening in the body. Okay, so if you have constipation, then of course things like live fiber can also help during that time. So how do we put everything together with what we have learned? All right, so today we have learned about pre-celebration. Morning take uni mate, lunch take uni mate. Yes, okay, so this is what we are majorly doing right now. Okay, to maximize on your fat burning, obviously, to tap into your fat burning zone. And dinner take balance stronghold. And if you want to go into greater muscle building, you can combine it with stronghold as well. Okay, it's going to be even better after meal, or you can take with family, it's also okay. All right, and this is where then of course go through with your 15-hour fasting. All right, Ramadan version is a bit different. Okay, take 2 uni mate, best to take by 4:30 to 5 because you will be starting fasting about 6, right? 6-ish. So best to take during this time if you can. Okay, so this is where fasting begins that time. And dinner take balance, and also yes, take your stronghold and healthy vanilla at night. And by the way, muscle building happens at night as well. Okay, especially when you sleep. So you should take it at night. All right, so this is for celebration time. Okay, when you're all on celebration moments, all right, it's recommended to do this if you can. All right, take the probiotic in the morning just to establish your gut, all right, to foolproof your gut so that it's not going to destroy, okay, with all the snacks that you're eating and uni mate. And during this time, it's optional, okay? If you want to take uni mate, it's also fine, okay? If you want to go with your uni mate, it's also okay, but you can take this balance also, okay, because you will need it, especially if you know you're snack. All right. And dinner is balance, stronghold, okay, and aloe vera before bed. This is something I recommend if that day you know that something's going to happen to your gut and you always don't have enough fiber, right? So these are things that you can add in to just help your gut to move a little bit when you're going through this time during festive season. And yeah, good to have additional life fiber as well, just in case you need it during this 1 week of endless feasting. Okay, so this is a foolproof method for you to go through this. And if this is going to help you, all right, even though you may go through some changes, but it's going to greatly help you. And well, you may not even gain any weight, all right, throughout this period if you really follow through with this routine. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much. All right, I hope I'm not loading you with too much information, but basically, with the tools that we have, it's going to give us a much greater advantage when it comes to fat burning. And I think it's quite amazing to see how it links to AMPK, shortening our time to fat burning, and that's definitely going to help us a lot, uh, especially before and during the fasting season. All right. So if there's no question, then it's fine. All right. You can always, if you thought about it later on, you can always, discuss about it when you suddenly have a question that pop up, when you're on this. All right. So I hope with this, okay, you'll be a lot more primed. Now, especially this 1 week, you can still do a lot, okay, to train your body to be more metabolically flexible. Okay, activate the AMPK as much as possible. Go into deep fat burning mode, and you'll be surprised. Even though this week, you can also lose a bit, and next week you'll be able to be much more adapted during the festive season. All right. So wish everybody a great Chinese New Year celebration, and for those who are Ramadan, happy fasting. All right. So thank you very much, everybody, for your time, and see you next month. All right. So bye.